today I want us to talk about demystifying therapy. Guys, if you're like me trying to figure out life, probably it has crossed your mind to get into therapy, and I'm here to tell you why you should get into therapy. So, why did this work for me? When you walk into a therapist office, you don't know what to expect. For me, the first day it was just talking and talking and talking and crying and talking, and she was just taking notes and taking notes, which was so weird for me because I was like, what are you writing? Are you saying this girl is sick or something? But no. After that, I took a test. Then we discovered I had some issues, and we worked on that. Which weirdly, I don't know why it took like 4 or 5 sessions to for me to feel better, but I felt better, then eventually stopped. Now, for me, the reason I went into therapy, I was going through one of the darkest. I thought it was the darkest time. Right now, I'm going through the darkest time. But at that time, I had just recently lost my grandparents. My mom was, what's the word? My mom was Hi, hi, hi. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Review Podcast. I am your host, Rachel Anita. Kama K, kama kawaida. You can call me, what did I even say? You can call me anytime. But today, I want us to talk about demystifying therapy. Guys, if you're like me, trying to figure out life, probably it has crossed your mind to get into therapy, and I'm here to tell you why you should get into therapy. There's something my husband usually says. It's better to know you're in the forest than not knowing that you're lost at all. Well, he says it in Kiswahili. Eti ni better na hiyo si Kiswahili. It's better to know you're in the forest. Like when you're lost, it's better to know when you're lost. Because the moment you know you're lost, you get to find a direction out of the forest, figuratively. Now, for me, the reason I went into therapy, I was going through one of the darkest. I thought it was the darkest time. Right now, I'm going through the darkest time. But at that time, I had just recently lost my grandparents. My mom was, what's the word? My mom was, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Then I was just a new mom as well. My baby was like 9 weeks. You can imagine going through all that as one person. So I decided, you know what? Let me go get into therapy, guys. I can say it worked for the first few days, few episodes. What am I used to saying? The few therapy sessions, it worked. Then it stopped. So why did this work for me? When you walk into a therapist office, you don't know what to expect. For me, the first day it was just talking and talking and talking and crying and talking, and she was just taking notes and taking notes, which was so weird for me because I was like, what are you writing? Are you saying this girl is sick or something? But no. After that, I took a test. Then we discovered I had some issues, and we worked on that. Which weirdly, I don't know why it took like 4 or 5 sessions to for me to feel better, but I felt better, then eventually stopped. Now, why do people need to get into therapy? I think if you're like me who went through a really bad time, it helps you get. For me, it was finding someone who's not judgmental, who had no history of me. You see, if you're going to vent into your friend, they already have an idea of you, and they tend to judge you based on that. They you can say maybe you're changing, turning on a new leaf, but your friend will always know Anita does this. In this situation, Anita reacted like this or reacts like this. So I know you're probably fixed in a box. But with a therapist, it's like literally a clean plate. And I'm talking about licensed therapists, not these people. Everyone on IG, everyone on TikTok right now has an opinion and they are therapists. Even me, I'm not a therapist, but a licensed person who actually went to school and learned how to handle this um, different spectrum of mental issues would actually know what to do. So having someone with a clean slate on you really helps you. Because like for me, when I walked into that office, this lady was like, "Okay, Anita, what has brought you here?" And I was like, da 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 da. You see, she was like trying to figure out you did this because of that, and you did this because of that, and it really, really helped me. But why did I stop, guys? You might ask. Because my I felt like my therapist was more involved with other people as opposed to me. So nikaona tu hapa nijitoe, and it's a problem. It's a problem. Someone said in Kenya probably after 3 sessions people feel better and they leave. So I'm finding my way back. So guys, if you know a very nice therapist, um, tag them below. I would like to actually get back into that space. So the thing with therapy, sometimes you think someone has to be cuckoo, like when you hear someone went to see a therapist, probably you think they were mental or um, they were crazy, which is a very bad word to use on someone. But the thing with therapy is that imagine it doesn't have to be that serious. You can just be okay, kabisa. But when you go there, you figure out how to be a better person in your day to day. There are hidden things you don't know. You don't know something like you could be living in paranoia or anxiety or OCD or something. They're just things you do that you think are normal, but probably they're trauma based. And once you go and talk to a therapist, like I did not know, honestly, I have anxiety. I did not know I am a very, there's a word she used. I can't remember, but like I judge, like it's very difficult to get into my space. And I didn't know why that happened. But after breaking it down with my therapist, I was able to understand why I behave the way I do. It does not negate bad behavior, but it helps increase better behavior. There's someone who said, I was watching some reel somewhere, and it said, no matter how much good you do, it does not take away the bad, it does not take away the trauma. Look at it like, let's say, like wine in a glass, red wine, and you're trying to make that red wine white. It You put in so much, so much, so much, so much, so much, so much, so much water to make it white. But at the end of the day, you'll have water and not wine. So just whatever you do, like for me, I have a lot of trauma, child based, huh, former trauma. When I was a child, when I was a child, and I went dust, I saw dust. So now that dust is trying to settle. So it doesn't matter as an adult, it doesn't matter how many good things I do, how much I read, how much I probably meditate, how much I do all those things. If I do not put in the work to fix in my inner child, I will still have traces of that. That is why I might once in a while explode in anger. Once in a while, it's very difficult for me to make friends. It's very difficult for me to explore. Like for me, my world is very different, and it's because of that. And if I do not fix those things, if you do not fix those things about yourself, you will continue living in the world thinking you're normal, but wewe na watu wako Mathare, same same. Yes. So I want to demystify something. Therapy is not only for people with severe issues. I've said that, and therapy is not a last resort. It should not be like kwa list yako, I have done this, done this, done this, done this, then therapy. Go to a therapist. These days we have so many people. Okay, so many, and I can't find one nice. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But we have so many people who you can turn to. I guess even many hospitals have a mental health branch section. If you just Google, you'll find someone to help you. But make sure it is someone who is licensed and someone who actually understands what it means to be a therapist. A therapist is not a fixer. And these things you see in movies, easy with the when you go to a therapist and ask you, how does that make you feel? It's very annoying. It's very annoying, but trust you me, when you sit on that couch or whatever, you'll have to answer that question. They are like a guide, they're like a map. When you walk, I truly believe a therapist can tell what's the problem by just seeing you or by listening to you in one or two or three sessions. But they can't come just outward and tell you, like for me, I had anxiety. The therapist couldn't just tell me, Anita, you have really high functioning anxiety. It was like, aha, Anita, if you do this, how does that make you feel? Then I'm like, either I had very many nonverbal, I would be either tapping my toes or just doing, or I can't stay still. And these are things I had to learn by myself. How does that make you feel? Remember, they are not going to fix all your problems. But trust me, once you walk out of that office, you'll be around 20%, around 20% better. So remember also that therapists also have boundaries, and there are things you can't, like expect them to work past their hours or be on call for you 100%. There's work you have to put in by yourself. So currently, I'm watching The Monk. It's a very interesting series about. It has become a comfort series for me because every episode is the same. Someone kills someone. Monk walks in. He navigates the crime scene and is able to figure out what happened and how. So Monk has very funny tendencies. He wants everything in order. He can't function if like something is at number 9, he wants it at 10. He can't function if things shoes are not in order facing one direction, or breadcrumbs are not an even or 5 or a 10 number. So Monk is very attached to his therapist, which is something I learned. You cannot be that extremely attached to the therapist, but continuing further, even the therapist becomes attached to Monk. So now something happens, and the therapist decides to quit uh, practicing because someone was killed in his office. But now that affects Monk because he has no one else to talk to on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, which is a crazy amount of therapy sessions. But I understand he really needs it. And it gets to the extent where Monk breaks into the therapist's home just to have a conversation because he really needs to talk to someone. I don't know if that is a positive effect or a negative. I don't know how we get there, but try not to get there with a therapist. Work on your boundaries because there are also people, they have lives outside. I also do believe therapists have their own therapists to break down whatever they are going through when they have plans like Monk. I mean, who wouldn't? So yeah, when choosing a therapist, think about the specialization and compatibility. This is something I feel like I didn't look at when I was checking for my therapist. I was in a really dark space, so I just went to the first person I thought could listen to me. Then later on, I realized my therapist is quite. She was based on suicidal clients, so there is. I wasn't suicidal. I was feeling very bad, but guys, I don't want to leave Earth. Just I was not in that space. I wasn't suicidal, so she would like push me to the side. Like, have you ever felt like you're talking to someone, then they're just tapping out? They don't feel like your problems are important. So make sure you don't get to that same space. So for me, moving forward, I have to look for someone who understands grief, who understands becoming a parent, who understands losing. I've lost like 4 people in the last 4 years, and someone who understands that moving forward. Um, you can also try trial sessions, work with as many therapists as you can till you find the one. It's like kissing frogs until you find the prince, something like that. So you have to try and try and try until you find someone. Normalize searching and search Google. You need these people. Find their CVs, even ask for their resumes until you find the person who works for you. So for me, benefits of therapy, short term is I felt really good. I can't explain. Before I walked into the therapist office the first time, like I said, I was in a dark space. I literally had my heart was so heavy. You can imagine just being told your mom has terminal cancer and there's nothing you can do about it, no matter how much you have or how much medicine there is in the world. And you have a small baby and just a young man. I'm just a baby. I'm just a baby. So me walking into that session, I just had to talk to someone. I couldn't talk to my friends because I just realized as an adult, if no one is going through what you're going through, they probably don't relate to you as much. So when I talked to that therapist, I felt so much relief. I have not cried that much. I think I need to cry again. I've not cried that much since that day. And it helped. That was short term. But now I need long term. I need to know how to navigate life better than that. Long term benefits of therapy is that you can have better relationships, resilience, and self awareness, which makes you just a better person to be around, to have, you know, to just be around. And apart from that, there's some other form of therapy I learned. Okay, there are many kinds of therapy. You can do breathing exercises, you can do exercises like physical, jumping up and down. And for me, I found something that really worked. I found reading. Crazy, right? But like this book, guys, if you can get it, It is written by a black woman, so you know it's good and juicy. I got this from Textbook Center. You can get your own copy, and it really talks about all those things that you just need to talk about. As you can see, just nimefika hapa, and this has taken me like 3 months. Na nimefika literally hapa because it's a book you can't trash. I don't know if I can get something sensible to read out of this book, but mtajionea, mtasoma. This book, highly recommend. It has really helped me a good deal. So guys, I really do hope you go out there and be your best and learn what works for you. Find someone to talk to, because I don't hear of people jumping off apartments, people killing themselves, people killing other people. Like, we have so much anger as a society, and we have to work that out. Work that out. And that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for listening in. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, share, like, whatever the cool kids do. So thank you. Bye.